I think everyone's in. Okay, yay. I'm so excited for today because I have been like, I've been going over all my content and all my ideas. If you don't know who I am, I've been doing and studying and teaching manifestation for over a decade. And I've been like teaching it for over decades, studying it for 2 decades. And I just have so much information and it just keeps growing. And I get more data. The more people I coach, the more information I learn because that's how we expand and grow. And so today I'm just really excited about because I just have so much fun stuff to share. I do have a lot of notes, so sorry if I read them. I try and memorize everything, but you know what? I'd rather just make sure it's perfect. So first of all, if you don't know who I am, my name is Tessany Layher, and the reason I'm qualified to teach this is because I was a teen mom twice, and I was like a crazy teenager. Like I know a lot of us were, but I was like really like I partied a lot. I moved out when I was 15. I dropped out of high school when I was 16. I was just like having fun and enjoying life, and like I just wanted to be an adult so bad, and I wanted to be a star. I wanted to move to Hollywood. Like I just had like this whole vision of what I thought I was going to do. And then the universe just like got involved and I went on this whole journey that is like more than I ever could have asked for or dreamt of when I thought I wanted what I wanted. So my journey started really when I was packing up to move to Hollywood to become an actress. I have no idea how I thought I was going to get there or what I was going to do, but I was just going to get my car and go. And I decided to take a pregnancy test before I left, and it was positive. And the second I looked at that pregnancy test, it's like my entire identity shifted. I didn't just go from like, okay, I'll just go to Hollywood and bring this baby and like this is still my dream. It was like I no longer wanted to be a star and I wanted to be a mom. And I was like 16 years old staring at this test and I was just like, okay, time to shift. Like this is who I am now. And I shifted everything. I stopped everything I was doing. I started looking into what I wanted to do for school. I started like aligning with my path. And I just remember thinking, I'm not going to be a statistic and my baby won't be a statistic. And that was my driving force. And then I got pregnant again at 19. I don't learn lessons easily. So, in all honesty, she was meant to be. So, I get pregnant again, and this could have broke me because their dad and I were like not in a good place. He was cheating on me. Like, we were pretty much breaking up. It was like one good night, and I get pregnant again. And no, this was more fuel. This was another baby, another like precious being that I was in charge of. And I was going to make sure that the life that those girls had was the best, the biggest, like no one was going to know they came from a teen mom because of the life they were going to have. And so that's my story. That's my driving force. That's what got me into all of this. And from there, so many things happened. I opened my own hair salon at 25 years old. I have opened a coffee stand, coaching company, a crystal shop, like so many things on the way there. But I've also made a ton of mistakes, like a ton, way more than I have one. And, I had problems with the IRS years ago. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand bookkeeping. I've had like problems with building teams. I've had problems with understanding how to lead. I've had crazy teenagers that might have been crazier than I was, which, they say you get it back times 10 or whatever. I think I got it back times 100, but they were worth every bit of stress. Anyways, that is why I teach what I teach. It's why I do what I do. And the thing I'm most proud of is not the businesses that I built or even the person I've become. It's that my girls are living the life they know they deserve at 23 and 25 years old. And that is a huge accomplishment to me because that was like what I felt like I was here to do is like create our lives for us, make our lives bigger, make sure these girls understood what they were worth and what they were allowed to have, and give them the permission to desire a big life. And so now that's what I do for other women because I see the impact it made on my kids. I see the impact it's made on my team. I saw the impact it made on my hair clients when I was doing hair for 20 years. And I just realized like that's who I am. It's who I came here to be. So that's my story. That's why I can teach what I teach. And let's just kind of jump into it. So the first thing is that there is a difference between wanting and desiring. And I keep talking about how people, women especially, need to relearn how to desire. And people will tell me, well, I mean, I desire things, I just can't get them. But there is a difference. When you want something, wanting is like a wish. It's like, "Ooh, that'd be nice." Wanting often is accompanied by either judgment or apology. So, man, that looks nice, but I don't need that. I don't need that. Like, I'm happy with what I have. I'm grateful. Or must be nice. I bet she doesn't even spend time with her kids though. Must be nice, but I bet she's not even happy. So you see how there's a want, but then there's either judgment or an apology attached to it. That's different than desire. And I actually want to tell you word for word what the definition of the two are, because I think it makes a huge difference. So want is a practical surface level craving based on a perceived lack of something. Desire is a profound, intrinsic, and emotional yearning driven by purpose and possibility. That is a huge difference, a night and day between those two things. So when we say, like, well, I don't lack desire, I want things, do you want it or do you desire it? Do you have like an emotional need to make it happen? Do you believe in the possibility of it? Do you believe that like this is something you can create, and do you want it more than anything? That's what we need to create in women. Okay. So just so I don't get ahead of myself, da, 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 da. We talked about that. We talked about that. Okay. So there are 4 reasons that women lose desire and lose the ability to desire. So the first one is religious programming. So a lot of us were brought up in religious settings, and not all religions are like this, but this is a programming that can happen to people, to believe that wanting more or desiring is, or that it means you're not grateful. So when that desire creeps in, it's very easy for us to go like, oh, that'd be nice, but that's not, I want a humble life. Like, I just want to serve. I just want to, I'm okay. I'm okay with what I have. Like, that's for somebody else. In fact, they're probably like not spiritual or religious like I am. That's programming, religious programming. The second one is spiritual programming. So a lot of times on our spiritual journey, because a lot of us go from religion to spirituality, where we have like a connection to the universe, to God, to the unseen or source energy, but it no longer is attached to a religion. And as we go on this spiritual journey, there's lots of stages where we have different opinions and different ideas of what it means to be spiritual. And the number one that programs women the most is that it's not spiritual to want money, and that it's not spiritual to want to be rich or to desire wealth. And that's a programming, right? Because we are beings that came here. Our whole purpose being on this planet is to grow and is to expand and is to serve, to share our gifts with the world. So if you don't desire to expand and grow, which in turn will bring wealth, then you are minimizing the impact that you can have, and you're minimizing the experience that you can have on this planet. Being broke is not spiritual. I would say it's anti-spiritual. It's like you're stuck because you haven't been able to rewire the way that you're actually meant to work with energy and to manifest. So that's spiritual programming. The third one, and I think this is actually the hardest one, is family programming. And the reason I say this is the hardest is because this happens before you're 8 years old. This happens like from birth to 8, and you are being told a story through what you experience, what you hear, what you're told, and what you perceive is happening. And that story is becoming the truth that is truly running your entire life. So when you, oh wait, I just need to make sure that no one's trying to get in. I thought I saw something pop up. No, okay, maybe not. Sorry. Hopefully I'm not keeping anyone out. Okay, sorry. So family survival patterns. So I have a story and I've told it a million times. So if you've heard it, just bear with me because it's worth it for anyone who hasn't. So this is the story of the ham. So there's a little girl, she's watching her mother make a ham. The mother cuts off both sides of the ham, sticks it in the pan, and sticks it in the oven. And the little girl says, why do we cut off both sides of the ham before we put it in the oven? And the mother says, oh, that's how you make ham. My mother taught me. So then grandma shows up and the little girl says, grandma, why do we cut off both sides of the ham before we put it in the oven? And grandma says, that's how you make ham. My mother taught me. So then great grandma shows up and the little girl says, great grandma, why do we cut off both sides of the ham before we stick it in the oven? And great grandma says, oh, you don't have to. That's just how big my pan was. So the reason I love that story so much is it really like illustrates for us how a thought from 3 generations ago in a time that was different than a time that we're living in now with circumstances that are different than what we're living in now can pass down a story that's not even true, that doesn't even matter for you and where you're at, and it's not helping you, it's probably hurting you. In this case, it's just ham, but how many stories have you been passed down or inherited that are around money, that are around what you're allowed to have, what you're allowed to hold? Okay, and then the fourth one is the fear of disappointment. So this programs us to believe that if we don't want, then we won't get disappointed. And it's just easier to expect the worst so that we're okay with whatever the outcome is. But there was actually a study done at Penn State that only 10% of what we fear ever actually happens. And of that 10%, 50% of the time, it was a better outcome than we perceived. So we're wasting so much time on things that have a 90% chance of not happening. And those things that we're focused on are actually blocking us from the life that we deserve. So that's just, I saw that, I heard someone talk about it and I was like, I gotta find where that study was from and find it, because I think that's such a powerful thing to understand. We, especially as women, especially as mothers, as caretakers, as people who are, taking care of our parents and our children and our families, or sometimes our teams and our employees, depending on what you do, you are so putting out so much, and there's so much worry behind everything working out for every single person. And most of the time it's never going to happen. And you spent all that time you could have spent focusing and building a life on worrying and draining yourself about something that probably is never going to happen. Okay. And if you've never been on one of these with me, I do a teaching for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Everything, and then you can go ahead and jump in questions, and then I give us an hour. If we don't need the hour, we won't use the whole hour, but I'm here for you for the whole. Okay, so desire is the first seed of manifestation. So nothing is created without desire first, and this is super important to understand, because if we want but we don't desire, we're going to say things like, well, I tried manifesting it but it didn't show up. I tried doing that, but it didn't work. If you just want it and it's surface level and it's not non-negotiable for you, it's not coming. You have to want it at the deepest level, which is desire. That desire is going to plant the seed to create the manifestation for you. So there's 4 steps that I teach in manifestation. It is planting the seed, which is desire. Then it is thought. Then it's inspired action. And then it's identity. So desire actually precedes all of it, because without desire, none of those other things can even show up or happen. Okay. You can only plant a seed that you are willing to hold. So what do I mean by that? When you say, I want $1 million, I desire $1 million, are you willing to hold $1 million? And of course, your first thought is probably like, yeah, of course I'm willing. Who isn't willing to hold it? But 70% of lotto winners are broke in a few years. That means that they didn't change their identity. They didn't become someone who could hold the money. They just got it and then lost it because they weren't willing to hold it. It's the same as when we lose weight. You lose 50 pounds, you gain back 60 because your body changed, but your identity didn't change. And when the identity doesn't change, you go back and revert to what you're used to, what you're supposed to be, where you're comfortable. And then what was my other? Oh, toxic relationships. So you can have a toxic relationship loop where you're in a bad relationship, you get strong, you get away from it, you do the work, you go on this whole spiritual journey, dark night of the soul, like do all the things. And then all of a sudden you end up in another toxic relationship again. It's because you didn't actually change the identity of who you were. You read some books and you learned some information, but there wasn't an internal shift of identity. And so now you're attracting the same thing again. So that's what I'm talking about when I say you can only truly plant a seed or manifest something that you're willing to hold. You have to be willing to change the identity and be the person who can hold that thing. And then wanting from a place of believing it's bad or impossible is not desired. That is suppression. Okay, so that is my seed planting. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, and then I just also wanted to say, because I forget this because I've been doing it for so long and I've been in this world for so long, but not everyone understands what manifestation is. Manifestation is just literally bringing an idea, a desire, or an outcome into reality. So it's like having it in the mind and then having it show up in reality. That's when it's been manifested, is when it shows up as your reality. And we're always manifesting whether we know it or not. So whatever life you're living, it's a manifestation of what you've been doing, who you have been, like, and it's not a punishment. You haven't done anything wrong, but once you understand it, you can do it on purpose instead of letting things just happen to you. And then the princess gene. So the princess gene is something that well, actually, my husband coined the term because he kept saying I had a princess gene because I needed everything to be perfect all the time, but not perfect in like a perfectionist kind of way. It's like, I want to be comfortable. Like, I need the most comfortable, expensive chair that has a footrest, that has like all the things. So I feel good while I'm sitting here. I bought like 100 pillows. In fact, my cousin the other day, I did a video about like how I need the perfect pillow and how I've tried 100 pillows. And my cousin texted me the other day and she's like, can you tell me what pillow you found? I'm like, I really need a good pillow. And I sent her the link and she texted me 2 days later and she's like, this pillow's life-changing. You need to get the Amazon link and get paid for it. Like, put it on your page. I'm like, oh, that's so funny, but maybe I should. But anyways, I need a perfect pillow. I need my food to be what I want. Like, if I'm not excited about what we're going to eat or desiring it, like, I don't want it. And so the princess gene is basically the piece inside of all of us that when it's activated, it won't settle for less. It won't allow you to not have a big life. It won't allow you to not dream bigger. Like the princess gene, when I first started coaching with my current coach a year and a half ago, he told all of us, whatever your dream is right now, make it 10 times bigger. Dream bigger than you ever thought was possible. And I already thought I was a huge dreamer. Like, I could go on and on and on of all the dreams I have and all the people I want to serve and all the things I want to change in the world. And so when he said this, I was like, what do you mean? Like, how do I do that? And literally within a few days, I had an even bigger vision than I ever thought possible. And from there, me and my VP Danielle were like out and like getting an architect and figuring out like the logistics of it. And like the dream just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's grown even bigger than that because he gave me not just the permission, but like the push to dream even bigger. So no matter how big you think your dream is, activating your princess gene will really allow you to like open up to the possibility of anything. Like anything is possible. The biggest, most amazing life you could ever imagine is possible for you. You just have to be able to desire it. You have to know that it's meant for you. I have to figure out how to look at, Q&A. Oh, oops, there's some in there. Okay, oops. Okay, sorry, I didn't know how to open the bar. Here we go. What's the difference between want and desire? I think I answered it, but just in case this was after I said it. So want is the surface level, like practical, I want that. Like I'm jealous that someone else has it almost. What was my actual write-up for it? It's, a craving based on perceived lack. I love that. So it's like wanting something because you perceive you don't have it. Desire is like the emotional, like need inside of you to have something and to create something. Hold on. I accidentally opened this box. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay, sorry. Okay. I was raised being told to be grateful for what I have. So I always feel guilty or selfish for wanting more. Like I don't appreciate what I have if I want more. Yes. Okay. So gratitude is like gratitude is super important. It's like one of the most important emotions. Love and gratitude are the things that are going to manifest everything for you faster than you could ever imagine. But it's not different. Like wanting more doesn't, or desiring more doesn't mean you're not grateful. In fact, it means you're so grateful and that you're so activated that you're drawn to the truest and biggest version of you. So like just so we're aware of this, like your desire is not selfish, it's not ego, it's not anything negative. Your desire is like God showing up inside of you, universe in you, like source energy inside of you reaching out for what it's here to do. If you desire it, there is a path to it for you. It's meant for you. It's supposed to be something that you have an experience or you would not want it. Okay, so gratitude is not like, yes, be grateful, but wanting more does not mean that you're selfish. But that is part of religious and family programming, is feeling selfish. Is it possible to desire something and be terrified of it at the same time? Oh, heck yeah. I mean, when my coach told me to desire 10 times bigger, I'm like, do you even have a clue what I'm going to have to do to get what I'm desiring now? Like, it's going to take a lifetime. And then when I decided, like, okay, like I signed up for this because I wanted to expand. Just a side note, only 8% of the world will ever reach their goals and dreams. 8%. So 92% of people are never going to accomplish the things that they desire or that they want. And it's probably because they want it and don't desire it. But when you hire a coach, your chances of success and actually hitting those goals goes up 95%. And only 7.5% of the world ever hires a success or life coach or someone who can help them get to that next level. So interesting that only 8% of us actually get there when 7.5% of the world is hiring a coach. So I always have a coach. I have a coach for every single thing that I do. I totally believe in it. But now I went off. Okay, so are you terrified? Yes. So being terrified is a great sign that you're dreaming big because it feels scary. It feels insane. It feels like, how the heck would I ever do that? And then there's like pieces of doubt that come in, like, how do you have the audacity to think that you get to do that? Like, that totally shows up for people. So being terrified is actually a great sign. And the word terrified I like, because if you said like having fear, like yes, but terrified is like such a good word. Okay, what if I don't know what I want anymore? Like I've been in survival mode so long, I don't know how to desire. Yeah, this is huge. And this is such a good question. Thank you for asking it and for being vulnerable because I think I hope this doesn't record on my screen where I have this. Sorry, I'm just going to see if I can move. Oh, there we go. Got it. Sorry. Okay. What if I don't know what I want anymore? I think so many of us have been caught in survival mode. Our nervous systems are like totally shot because we've been going, especially like Gen X and like Xennials, like even some millennials, like we've been taught to hustle. We've been taught like you work 15, 16 hours a week and that's how you make money. Like there's no shortcut. There's nothing around it. Like you have to kill yourself to get there. And that's hard. That kills your nervous system and that causes extreme stress. And I had the same programming that most of us do in that in those generations. And so there was definitely a point in my life where I was like, I don't even know what I want. I don't even know who I am other than being a mom and like a boss and a wife. Like I have no clue who I am. And that's a really hard place to be. But what is hopeful and what should help you is that desire doesn't die. It doesn't go away. It gets quiet. And it gets quiet because it doesn't feel safe anymore. Like the environment doesn't feel like a place that desire can thrive. And when that happens, it just gets very quiet. So the first thing that you could do to actually start uh, reactivating that is, instead of asking yourself, what do I want? Ask yourself, what don't I want? Which sounds very anti like manifesting and optimism. But when you're that burnout and you're that your nervous system is that like shot, finding something that you want is almost impossible. So start saying, what do I not want? What do I no longer want to tolerate? What do I no longer want to experience? Because when you start identifying what you don't want, eventually you will see like what you do want. So if I don't want to work 60 hours a week anymore, then I know I do want to have like life work balance, or I do want like a flexible work schedule, or I do want, maybe a different career. Like you can start to see what you do want when you understand what you don't want. So that's what I would say. That's my advice for that. How do I know if I'm in genuine alignment with my desire or just forcing myself to want something I think I should want? Ooh, this is good because a lot of us have been programmed to believe we want things that we don't even want. And so this happens, like I was helping a chiropractor one time, and she was like a fairly new chiropractor and she hated it. And she was like, I can't not do it because all these people help pay for it. All these people helped me with my time, helped me with my bills, like helped me get here. And so if I don't do it anymore, like I'm letting down so many people. And I'm like, yeah, but if you do it and you don't love it, you're letting down yourself. Like people will get over it, but you get this lifetime to do the things that you're supposed to do in it, and not being let up is a great red flag that you're not doing what you're here to be doing. So genuine alignment to me looks like, it might be hard. It could be exhausting sometimes. It could feel like a lot, but there's still like something about it that lights you up. Like it's going to be worth it. You can see the tunnel, you can see the reward. You feel good about it. And then when you're just doing something that other people want you to do, you usually feel like, I don't know if burnt out's the right word, but like unfulfilled. You feel unfulfilled. Okay, every time something good starts happening, I somehow find a way to sabotage it. Is that connected to desire or something? Sorry, or something else? A little blind over here. Okay, every time something good starts happening. Okay. Oh, this is probably like a container of comfort thing. So if you've ever seen my training on container of comfort, basically there are compartments in our subconscious. So there's health, there's happiness, there's wealth, there's joy. And we have a container in our subconscious that tells us the ceiling and the basement that we're allowed to sit in to be comfortable in each of those areas. And our subconscious's whole like purpose is to keep us comfortable. So when we stay between the ceiling and the basement, we're comfortable. But that's really bad for trying to grow, trying to expand, because you hit the ceiling, you start self-sabotaging. You start having things like mess up in your life because you have to get comfortable again. Your subconscious has to push you back down into a level that feels safe. So if things are starting to go good and then you sabotage, take a look, like, is it in relationships? Is it in money? Like, what area of your life is this happening in? And how can you remove the story that put the ceiling there for you? So for like money, like if your parents said like, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, or anything along those lines, it'll be really easy for you to go like, ooh, I can never spend that much money on myself. That's crazy. Or I would never buy that because that's a waste of money. And you start creating stories that just aren't even true, but they're like programming that you have. And so then when you push out of your comfort zone because you get a little excited, or you watch a Masterclass or you take a course and you're like, I could do this. I could get there. I could grow. And you start to grow. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is scary. Like I'm out of my comfort zone. This is bad. And you don't even realize it. Just subconsciously, everything starts to fall apart. So I think take a look at your stories that have created what you're allowed to have to see if that's why you're self-sabotaging. I have so many goals and desires, but taking time away from my kids and partner makes me feel like I'm not there for them. How do I feel okay taking time to myself to get there? Well, I I mean, I truly believe that doing the thing and creating it and reaching the goal is taking care of your kids and your partner and your life because you're creating freedom, you're creating financial safety, you're creating you being fulfilled makes you the best parent and the best partner that you could ever be because when you don't feel fulfilled, life doesn't feel good and you can't show up as the person you came here to be. So, yes, you should make time for them. Like have date nights that are like non-negotiable. Have certain things that you do with your kids. Like maybe you have to be home by a certain time to like have dinner and do bedtime with your kids every night. Or maybe it's like every Thursday you get off early so that you can do the nighttime stuff. Like one thing that helped me a lot when I was going through this, because I had kids so young and I was trying to create a life for us. So I spent a lot of time like going to school before work, going to school after work, like running around, trying to get help with daycare and babysitting, and like feeling a lot of guilt for not being there in the moment. But one piece of parenting advice that helped me a lot is that it's the quality of your time with your family, not the quantity, that's most important to them. So if you have a lot of time with them, but you're spending all your time like on your phone, on your computer, like trying to figure stuff out, it's like they're not actually getting you, even if you're there. And even if you didn't have big goals, this is going to happen, right? So either you're working a lot without big goals and you're doing this, or you have really big goals and you're going all for it. And if you're doing that, the end of the tunnel is going to come a lot sooner than if you're just kind of hanging out waiting to retire. So I think that the quality of the time that you spend with your family is the most important. So being able to like carve out pieces that are like just for you and them. Let's see. And honestly, like if you have those desires, if you don't accomplish them, you're not like you're never gonna feel fulfilled. Like fulfillment is the most important thing for us in this life. I grew up watching my mom sacrifice everything and never want anything for herself. I think I learned that wanting things is selfish. How do I get past that? Yeah, this is so huge because I mean, how many others of us have a mom who like sacrificed everything to be able to give us what we want? And then like my mom would always be like, "Oh, don't buy me anything. Don't get me Christmas presents. I don't need a birthday present. I don't need anything. Do not spend any money on me." And it's like crazy because I always buy my dad stuff, even though he doesn't need it either or care about it either, but he just isn't vocal about it. And like he probably on some level understands that it feels good for us to be able to buy them something and do something for them. And so he's just accepting of it. Where my mom's like, I don't want, I don't want, I don't want. But when you say things like that, you're telling the universe, like, I don't want more. I have what I need. Don't give me anything else. I don't want anything else. And that will anti-manifest a whole lot of things. So okay, so let me just reread it. I grew up watching my mom sacrifice everything and never want anything for herself. I think I learned that wanting things is selfish. How do I get past that? So if we look at this from a lens now, from a healed lens now of like what was actually going on, is our moms were accidentally becoming martyrs, right? When this is how they were showing up. They were accidentally taking on the whole world and thinking that's what was expected and that's what it meant to be a good human, a good mom, a good wife. And in reality, it left them very unfulfilled. I mean, how many of us have moms who are very unfulfilled with the life that they've created, whether they're retired, whether they're still working? There's lots of different age ranges in here, but do they love their life? Are they lit up? Are they fulfilled? Did they create the things that they desired? No, because they didn't allow themselves to desire. And so now they're either stuck working later in life or they're retired and unfulfilled. And that's not a jab to anyone's It's just what happens when we get caught in thinking that we have to sacrifice everything for other people. It's just like the airplane, like put the mask on you before you put it on anyone else. If you don't take care of you, if you don't fill up your cup, you can't be anything for anyone else. You'll just be a martyr. Okay, I think I caught up on all my questions that I didn't see. Let's see here. So going back, we were at the Princess Gene activation. So I was talking about what the Princess Gene is. So the Princess Gene, if you remember, is like high expectations. It's allowing yourself to have everything amazing, an amazing pillow. Like here's another example for my Princess Jean. So my husband and I just went to an event in Salt Lake City, and I only had a week's notice for the event, but I really, really wanted to do it because it was being able to be with other people in my coaching program and my coach in person, which most of us are usually online together. And I've been online with all of them for a year and a half, but I was like, gosh, I just feel like when you can get in the room with the right people, like you really change and up level yourself, because now you're like getting real connections. It's just not like a hi here and there on Instagram. So I only had a week's notice, and my Princess Jean only allows me to fly first class. And because of that, it was $2,700 for the tickets to get to Salt Lake City to go for one day. And I was like, I don't care. Princess Jean says, like, if we're going to expand, if we have big dreams, then we have to act as the person who has what we want. So if you're looking at things like this and going, that's a waste of money, that's a bad idea, then I wouldn't, I thought if I was looking at it like that, I would know I wasn't activated. I looked at it and said, this is a huge opportunity. I'm going to get a huge return on my investment, because being in that room and being around those people is going to up level me. So I bought the tickets. So after I bought the tickets, I was like, well, it's one night. Like, what if we just got like a 5-star hotel suite and did the honeymoon package? So then I paid a bunch of money to have a honeymoon package for us. And then I was like, well, we're only renting a car for the day, so why not a Porsche? So it was like this whole one-day experience turned into a $5,000 trip. But it was so much fun. And because there was no fear in me, because I had totally allowed the universe to bring what I spend, and I understand that money needs to be circulated. And when you spend without fear, everything comes back to you. This is why I've been able to spend almost $150,000 on myself over the last couple of years in getting coaching for me, because I believe in it. I believe in the universe showing up. I believe that we can have anything that we want. And when we decide something, so decide means to cut off all other options. So when I decided I'm going to have this experience, nothing else matters. I'm going to spend this money. I had this incredible experience, and the return on my investment was absolutely huge. The people that I met, the experience that I had, the advice that I got, just being in that room up leveled me to another level. So that's the Princess Gene. The Princess Gene is like allowing yourself to desire and have and fast. So when we make decisions fast, we're making decisions from the place of being that version of ourselves. So you become the person who can hold millions, and you make decisions like the person who has millions, and you become naturally a person who makes millions. So that's the Princess Gene in a nutshell. Let me just see. Okay, there's 3 questions to uncover. I'm just going to read these notes so I don't mess it up. 3 questions to uncover a suppressed desire. So if you have pen and paper, write this down. So what do I secretly want but consistently downplay? Are there things that you're like, man, it would be cool to do that, but I don't need it. Like, it's not a big deal, but it consistently comes up. Write that down. And then what do I claim I'm fine without but keep thinking about? Are there certain things that you're like, I don't need that, but you see it and you're like, dang, that'd be cool. Like for me, I was never into designer bags. Like, I'm just not really like a shopping person. I love experiences, but shopping, I'm just like, whatever. And my sister liked designer bags when we were young. And like, we grew up going to New York City every summer to get like our school clothes. And I should have liked shopping more than I did, but I didn't. And then when my husband made me buy a Louis Vuitton, I was like, whoa, this feels good. It feels like my new identity is someone who spends this kind of money on a bag. And I had bought Coach bags and I had bought like Michael Kors, and I was comfortable with like a $500 bag limit. But my first bag at Louis was like 2,200 or $2,500. And I was like sick to my stomach. I was like, that's like a mortgage. Like, who does this? And then my identity started to change. So if I had just gotten it and I had kept that feeling and I didn't allow myself to make it part of my identity, I would have eventually like just let that bag get torn to shreds, and like probably it would have gotten ruined and I would have never replaced it. And then I would have gotten back to the identity that I was comfortable in. But because I allowed it to up level my identity and to go, wow, this actually feels good. It feels good to be able to spend that kind of money and not feel like it's scary, to just allow it to happen. So that's like one of the things I think of when I say, what do I claim I'm fine without, but keep thinking about? Now, bags isn't going to be for everyone. Like for my husband, it's watches. Maybe it's like certain clothing, maybe it's accessories, maybe it's your car, like whatever it is, like what is it that you keep thinking about, that you keep seeing, that keeps showing up for you? And then the third question to ask yourself is, what would I want if absolutely nobody could judge me? Because I think that's something that's where our programming comes in. It's like, I could buy that, but like people are going to think this about me, or I could do that, but like, how are people going to view me? Like, I'm going to look ungrateful, or I'm going to look unspiritual, or I'm going to look materialistic. But if there was no judgment, what would you want? So write this down raw, unedited, no ceiling, no apology, and just see what you come up with for a second. Let me see. Let's check. Okay, and then just sit with that the next few days. Like really think about like what do you actually want? Like take all the judgment and all the programming out of it. What do you want? What do you desire? What do you have to have? What do you have to create in this lifetime? Because like I said earlier, we are here to expand, to grow, and to serve. And when we do that, we will feel fulfilled. And so you have to desire things at a certain level to start that manifestation forward, to start that fulfillment journey. And it doesn't have to be material. Material is just easy to talk about. But for some people, it's like, I mean, I guess this is also material, but just having a big like property that all of my family can live on, being able to help my friends, being able to, I'm sure we all have people in our lives that were like, man, if I won the lotto, I would buy them a house, or I would do this for them, or I would help them with this, or I would, help that family, or help kids with their medical bills, or whatever. There's so many things that I'm sure you thought about, like, if I had it, I would do it. So why not have it? Why not create it? We're here to create. We are creative beings. We're supposed to manifest, which is bring things into existence, create things in the world. So desire is step one, but it's only the beginning. From there, and if you want to talk to me or anyone on my team about Legacy League, we go further into this. So after we build on desire, we get to go into thought, identity, and then inspired action. And that's where our lives seriously change. So the things that become possible when you stop shrinking yourself it's like the most incredible thing. It's more incredible than you could ever dream up, than you could ever imagine. And if you've ever seen that meme where there's like, it's a religious meme where like Jesus is holding like a huge bouquet of flowers behind his back, and the little girl has one flower and she's like, but I love it. And he's like, but I have better. That's like how the universe is for you. Like you think that like this little thing is okay, and you love it and it's good enough and you're grateful for it. But if you allow yourself to desire, the universe has so much more for you to connect to, so much more for you to build, so much more for you to experience, which is the whole reason we're here. So thank you again for letting me start 30 minutes early, and for joining us and being on this. We had a nice show up today. If there's any more questions, I'm here for the next few minutes to answer them. And then I saw some people joined a little later because I don't know if you didn't see our that we were starting early, but we will send you the replay of this. And I mean, this was great, if I must say so myself. And I think there's a lot for people to work with this. Can I answer any questions? Or did everyone already get them out? Okay. Well, if that's everything, I mean, I'll give it a couple more seconds to see if anything comes through, but, oh wait, why does it say I have more? Oh no, that's that. Okay, okay. I'll give a few more seconds for people to type, but otherwise, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for, thank yourself for doing this for you, because when you invest your most valuable asset, which is your time and yourself and your learning and your up leveling, that's a great sign that you're on track to start manifesting the life of your dreams. Okay, no more? Oh, you talked about the princess gene. How do I flip the switch when I've been taught that being too much is a bad thing? Oh, I just did a video on this because I think a lot of us have been told we're too much, especially at like a younger age. And so we start to downplay who we are. Like we downplay our energy. We try not be too loud. We try not desire too much. And when you've been told that, just know that anything negative or judgy towards you is always about the other person. It's never about you. It's never about who you actually are or what's wrong with you. It's the other person. So when someone says you're too loud or too excited or too big or whatever else, they're just seeing the lack of it in themselves. So take it as a compliment. Like that's Princess Jean, right? So how do you flip it? Is like take that as a compliment and be like, I'm too much. Awesome. Then I'm like totally activated in that part of my Princess Jean, because the Princess Jean is too much. It's knowing you deserve to have it all. So why wouldn't you? What is Legacy League? Oh, sorry. Legacy League is our coaching business, my coaching business. It's where we meet once a week. And this is where we do the big work. Like we go in and we figure out like who we're becoming, what we're desiring, how do we get ourselves to this level? And we start actually becoming the woman that we're here to become, and getting rid of those programming and getting rid of the stuff that isn't serving us anymore. And in that place is where women really become the 8% who actually like hit their goals. They actually create their dreams. They actually allow themselves to desire again. And it's everything I've learned in my $150,000 of coaching that I've paid for, and the work that I've done over the last couple of decades. You get all of it. You get my brain, you get my time, you get access to me, and then to the teachings that I have. And then you get to do the work with other women who are incredible, who are on the same journey. And like I said earlier, the reason I took that trip to Salt Lake City is because I was going to be in the room with people who were doing what I was doing. And when you're in the room and you feel the energy, it's amazing online. It's taken me so far in the last year and a half. But actually getting in the room with those people, which is what we'll eventually offer in Legacy League, is retreats. But it changes you. Like you can't be the richest, smartest person in your friend group, or you're never going to get bigger or better. You have to find people who are doing bigger things, dreaming bigger, have more, and who are just like the next level in order to grow yourself. So that's what Legacy League is about, is like really getting people together. I want things, but every time I get excited about it, it doesn't last for long because I think about how it won't work or wouldn't happen. Okay. So that's programming again, right? The four pieces of programming that either come from spirituality, religious, family programming, or the fear of disappointment. And so going in and looking at like what makes you think it won't happen or won't work, and what story, what's the oldest story, the first time you felt like I can't do that, because we're not born with the feeling that we can't do, because we're born, our birthright is to create, to be wealthy, to have the life of our dreams, and we have everything we need to get there. We just have to allow ourselves to remember it and allow ourselves to tap into it and like inspire, reignite the light. So when's the first time that you remember like thinking that won't work? I can't have that. Because if you can identify that story and take it out of your subconscious and replace it with a new story, whenever you take a story out, you always have to replace it with a new story. You will change your reality. You'll start to realize, like, why not me? Like, start asking yourself that when someone says, like, oh, yeah, I became a millionaire overnight. Why not you? Why can't you do the same thing? When someone says, like, oh, I invested in X, Y, and Z and this happened, whatever. Why not you? Like every time I hear someone talk about something cool they did and I desire to do it, I'm like, why wouldn't I get to do it? So start to think that way instead of thinking it won't work or wouldn't happen for you. Like, why wouldn't it? It's just as possible that it's going to happen for you that it's not going to happen for you. But if you believe it will, then it's very possible it will. I hope I answered that well or enough. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'll keep this open. So if you're typing, just go ahead and keep typing. But thank you so much for letting me serve, for letting me give my information to you, and for hopefully opening up something inside of you that allows you to desire on a deeper level and to start actually reaching your goals and being one of the 8% that actually gets there, that actually becomes the person who can hold the life that they want. Okay. What's the difference between Legacy League and Legacy Collective? I saw two coaching options with you, and I don't know which one's right for me. So I created the Legacy Collective because can immediately, not everyone has shifted their identity enough to believe that they can invest in themselves at that level or is ready to invest in themselves at that level. So the Legacy Collective is less access. I go live on there twice a month and teach a little lesson. And then there's Q&A throughout the month. But there's also pre-recorded classes on like how to manifest. I can't think of all the classes on there, but I think there's like 5 or 6 different courses that are downloaded on there that you have access to when you sign up. And it's just to help you get to the next level and to help you shift into that identity. And then as you do that, you'll eventually be ready to invest in yourself in a higher level and become like the highest version of yourself. So it's like dipping your toe into Legacy League. Any questions on that? Okay. Well, thank you so much again for letting me start early. It's my niece's dance recital, and I got the times wrong and found out last night that I was like an hour off. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I so appreciate everyone who let us shift this and was still able to make it. And even if you're watching this as a replay, like, thank you for, again, investing your most precious resource, which is your time, the only thing we can't get back. Okay. I'll leave it open for a few minutes since I offered you a few minutes longer, but if there's nothing else, then I will see you guys on IG and maybe at one of our events or maybe in Legacy League. Oh, when I go click on, says I didn't answer any questions because I didn't type it. Everyone good? Okay. Well, then I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up. So, if you are watching this later and you have questions, please reach out to me on Instagram, and me or one of my amazing team members will get the answer for you. And even if you ask questions, but you need some more like depth on it, please feel free to go in and ask questions on Instagram. I love helping people. I believe that my whole goal, my whole reason for this lifetime is to help people realize how to live the life of their dreams and to actually accomplish it and to learn how to desire again, because this life has so much to offer for us and there's an endless possibility. We just have to allow it in. All right, bye.